Emotionally speaking, I'll never be the same, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Honestly, it's nice to feel. I used to be very robotic. I wasn't lovey-dovey. I wasn't a snuggle person. I definitely wasn't a crier. I don't think I shed a tear at my dad's funeral. Not because I wasn't sad, but because I didn't react to things that way. That's very different from the me I became. I'm a guy that didn't cry at their own dad's funeral, but now certain commercials bring me to tears. Yeah, I'd say I'm quite a bit different emotionally speaking. And like I said, that's not necessarily a bad thing. I've learned to control those moments a little better, to harness them. I've learned to value them. I appreciate those times when I get emotional now. It's a release. I have all these feelings and sometimes they just need to be felt. My mood always gets better after I have an emotional moment. I'm less stressed, and honestly, crying reminds me of what I've lost. It reminds me of who I want to become. Getting emotional, shedding tears, it makes me feel alive. A basketball coach named Jim Valvano gave a speech shortly before dying of cancer years ago. He said, if you laugh, if you think, if you cry, that's a full day. That's a heck of a day. You do that 7 days a week, and you're going to have something special. He was right. Most days I can control the sadness. Some days I can't. If I need a good cry, I know that probably sounds strange. Many times I'll reread certain things I've written for you. Notes, poems, or a random blog post. Things I wrote when I was very sad. It takes me back, makes me feel close to you, but it also keeps me focused. It lets me see how far I've come. It hurts, I admit. It reminds me that I don't have you, and whatever I just read, a poem, etc., didn't impact you in the way I'd hoped. But it's a great release. Nowadays, instead of rereading something, I usually just go for a run and listen to my Sherry playlist, a list of songs put together specifically for you. Little Lion Man, Demons, Carry On, Ho Hey, I'm Yours, Wonderwall, I Want to Get Better, Iris, I Will Wait, You're Beautiful, Come Pick Me Up, Some Nights, Someone Like You. That's definitely not a traditional running playlist, but it works great for me. Come Pick Me Up is a Ryan Adams song. I'd never listened to him before, but I remember you talking about him at one point. Maybe he was somebody you and Matt would listen to, I don't know, but I love that song. Someone Like You is an Adele song. I know you love her. The first time I ran to these songs was unbelievable. To mix the high of running with the low of the greatest loss you've ever suffered, while going through the emotion of tears in your eyes, I can't even explain it really. It's a great thing though, an amazing feeling. Maybe I should have put this in my mental chapter, huh? For all the days I'm able to keep my emotions in check, there are still moments that sneak up on me. Moments I can't control. Random things. Things that are borderline ridiculous. Things like a calendar. January reminds me of all the New Year's Eves we shared. February makes me think of Grayson's birthday. March is your birthday. We had our first kiss in April. April is also the last time I saw your face. July takes me back to watching fireworks with the kids and knowing you're probably at Rock Lake with your family. October for Autumn's birthday and the reminder of going trick-or-treating together. And December for the holidays, the Christmas moments we shared and the Christmas moments we didn't share because I wasn't there. Sometimes I just notice a date. It could be the date that a certain movie or song or album came out. It could be anything, really. If it happened before 2010, I think about not having met you yet. How I was about to meet the girl who would change my life and I didn't even know it. If it's a date that falls during our time together, I go back to that time and think about where we were as a couple. It's stupid how days and months and insignificant things like that can impact a person's feelings, but they do. Sometimes I'll be watching TV, which I don't do nearly as much as I once did, believe it or not. Shows like Friends or Modern Family, or really old shows like The Brady Bunch. I never thought much about why I liked watching those type of shows. Of course, some of them are just really popular, but come on, how many adult men watch The Brady Bunch, or Full House, or Leave It to Beaver, or whatever corny show I might watch? I think the reason I watch those type of shows goes back to my childhood. Not ever having a real family, a close-knit family, a group of friends or neighbors that I had a tight connection with. I guess watching those shows has been my way of having those relationships. It's been me living vicariously through these fictional characters, these fictional moments. That's not a terrible thing, but it's not healthy if it becomes your life. It's not going to become my life. Anyway, that was a little off topic, but something I wanted to say. So back to emotionally unstable Nate. Sometimes I'll be watching these TV shows and something uneventful will happen, but it will still really get to me. Just in the past few weeks, I was watching Modern Family. I still think you look like Claire, by the way, and several moments got to me. Cam and Mitch getting married, Phil and Luke doing father-son stuff, the way each episode ends with a voiceover talking about family or something related to life. It all gets me now. Episodes of Friends, when Ross and Rachel first get together, or break up, or get back together again. Seeing Chandler propose to Monica and seeing how happy they are. Even some commercials. Commercials about family or growing up or whatever. I'm basically a 9-year-old girl now. Actually, I'm not that bad. I like to just think of myself as sensitive. Honestly, I wouldn't change it for the world. That's the one thing I don't want to change about me. I watched Creed a few weeks ago, one of the few movies I've watched since we were together. There was a particular scene when Rocky went to the cemetery. You could tell this was a regular thing because he had a folding chair hidden in a tree near the headstones. He pulled it down, opened it, and sat in front of Adrian's gravesite. He read to her, he talked to her, he just sat there and spent time with her. It made me sad. I thought about the distant future. What if you were gone? What if I was still here? What if I still thought about you every day? What if you really are my soulmate? I could picture myself doing something just like that. It made me pray for your well-being even more than I already do. Yeah, I know that's a silly way to think, but it's another example of getting emotional over the most random things. And by the way, if you haven't seen it yet, Creed is just okay. Better than the last few Rocky movies, but not as good as the originals. Just today I went to the grocery store and saw a little boy. He must have been 4 or 5 years old. He was wearing a Spider-Man costume just like Grayson had or has. The one with the muscles. I just smiled, but inside I was sad. You just never know when a moment like that will happen. After all of these emotional shortcomings I've written about, you might not think I've come too far, but I have. Months ago, I couldn't make it through a day without breaking down, without getting a sick feeling in the pit of my stomach because I knew you weren't mine anymore. Maybe I'm just numb to it now or desensitized, but I like to think I've just grown, and that I've replaced the emotional wreck I was with a better person. A person who isn't greedy anymore. A person who doesn't just think of themselves. I had a talk with a mutual friend of ours over the summer, and the thing I remember most about our talk is a question they asked me. Don't you want her to be happy? For such a simple question, it really made me think, and the answer is yes, I do want you to be happy. Selfishly, I wish it was with me, but the important thing is your happiness, Autumn's happiness, Grayson's happiness. I will always want your love. I will always want your affection. But if you're happy, I will be happy. I've spent a lot of time talking about moments. Moments are what give life meaning. Moments never fade away. I may have lost you, but I didn't lose the memory of you. I had something special with you. I was one of the lucky ones. That will never change. I was able to experience things that many people never get to experience. I could focus on the fact that I lost that, but I won't. Instead, I'll focus on the wonderful moments you've given me. Moments are powerful things, the things that make life worth living. And even though some of our moments stand out more than others, I could never pick a favorite. That would mean I was lessening the other moments we shared. Our first kiss, what an incredible moment. The moment I realized I loved you. Or when I first realized you loved me. Our first date. Moments when you'd wrap your arms around me because you missed me, or were just happy to see me. Moments when we'd snuggle on the couch. Moments looking at Grayson and Autumn's baby pictures together. The way you'd stick your bottom lip out and say, "Aw," because they were so young and so cute. I especially remember the picture of Grayson's fat little legs and crooked head. Pulling you close to me at night while we slept. Moments when we'd laugh together, or moments when I'd get lost in your eyes. Moments when I'd wake you up on the couch by saying, "Let's go to bed, Beebs." Moments when I'd change into my boxers and you'd smile because you knew the silly thing I was about to do. Moments when you'd get all dressed up for me, before a dinner date or movie date. I always loved that precise moment when I would see what you'd picked out to wear, or how you'd fixed your hair. All the times I got to hear you say my name, or tell me you loved me. Our cemetery moment. Or our infamous high-five moment. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. Even the moment when we sat at the vet waiting to hear about Peanut. You were so worried, so scared. I'm glad I was able to be there to comfort you in that moment. I love, miss, and cherish all of those moments because they were with you. We had lots of great moments as a family, too. The board games, the dancing, the singing, all the movies we went to see, dinners together, Monkey Joe's. That place made me nervous, by the way. Credible pizza, the aquarium to see Albert, watching the Christmas parade, the roller slide, the toilet slide, the chocolate slide, setting off fireworks, bath time, reading time, bedtime, moments laying in bed next to Grayson as we watched Farmer Had a What or The Old Lady Who Swallowed a Fly, telling Autumn good night and listening to her climb the ladder on that squeaky bunk bed, the bunk bed we went to get together while we listened to Christmas music, hearing Gray ask for fresh water or helping him find his nuggie, moments watching Autumn do her poopy dance or any dance for that matter, seeing Grayson stick his tiny hands under his door before he was big enough to reach the knob, moments in the backyard, building the playground together, playing kickball, and laughing when Grayson would do that funny arm motion when he kicked the ball. I wonder if you remember that. Throwing the frisbee, watching Autumn climb on the monkey bars, tossing the ball to Gray. Moments when you and I would just sit and talk while the kids ran around. Watching Grayson learn to run. He and Autumn would race to the fence and back or around the trees. Autumn would run so hard, and Grayson's little arms would wobble back and forth. Moments in the basement playing Big Island or Mario. Moments when I'd push Gray back and forth on the little plastic cars downstairs. He would laugh and always want to go again, or as he would say, "Gin." I remember carrying Grayson down the stairs because I was always afraid he might fall. We were happy, all of us. Those were some great moments. How about when Gray would fall down and get hurt? I'd pretend to stomp the floor or punch the doorway that had hurt him. Moments when Autumn would dress like a princess. Mornings when I'd get them ready for school. I had no clue how to help Autumn with her hair. She'd try to do something on her own, but it usually didn't work out. Eventually, I would talk her into putting it up in a ponytail. I bet she knows what she's doing now, though. Building Legos with Grayson or wrestling on the bed, or sometimes just throwing them on the bed. Speaking of throwing the kids, how about the moment when I threw them both up the bouncy house slide? The bouncy house we put up in the backyard for the birthday party. My shoulder was messed up for like a year. Opening Christmas presents together, watching the kids ride bikes up and down the street, trick-or-treating, taking them shopping to buy their wonderful mother a birthday or Mother's Day present. Picking Autumn up at FFY or Grayson from Deb's. He would always ask me for gummies, and I almost always had some ready for him too. Chuck E. Cheese or the Pancake House while you were at work. Getting kisses from Gray. Wow, now that's a moment that I could possibly put the favorite tag on. I'm actually getting a little over-emotional as I write this, so I think it's time to stop. I've left out so many moments. I didn't even mention wiping bottoms. I could literally go on and on and on and on, but it's time to stop. You all gave me such a wonderful gift. Those moments, wow. I know now they were God's way of showing me what life is all about. Every clue was there, a beautiful life at my fingertips. I would give anything in this world to have one more moment with each of you. But if I never get that chance, I will just hang on to the moments we already shared. I have these moments. I'll never lose them. Never. Thank you so much.